What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. We are here to talk about something nobody's talking about, surprisingly, being that it's less than 3 weeks away. ICAST 2024. Is it a thing? I don't know. I've seen one video on it, and it's Tackle Warehouse talking about mostly swim baits. And they also mentioned JDM inspired baits, which was my favorite thing. That I'm glad they addressed it. They did take the angle of like keyboard warriors will get mad, which I was like, okay, guys, come on, for reasonably mad. But there's not much out there. I feel like the last couple of years, there's been an ICAST preview of like new products coming out that dropped months before ICAST.
The information is out there because there are some companies calling out that they have been selected as part of the group of products specifically for new product showcase.
Got it. Okay. So some companies are doing that. I did see a little something about some new baits coming out from LureNet today, and that's about all I've seen. Like apparently Rebel is making plastics. Hedden has made a Whopper plopper, but it's not it's not a Whopper plopper. It's a big one. It's a Hedden one. So I've seen a few things coming out, but not much. So we're gonna make some predictions tonight at the end of the night, be the end of the show. Instead of slow rolling thunder, it's going to be slow rolling predictions of ICAST 2024, and it should be fun. The meat of the show that we want to go into today is what did we get that kind of came out of ICAST or, relatively close to ICAST time last year that we ended up picking up, using, and there's a lot. We have tested so many things since last ICAST that we want to go through. We're going to give our 2 cents on it. It's going to be kind of rapid fire. Should be a lot of fun. We'll give you guys any feedback we can think of on it. Should you get it? Should you not get it? Is it worth it or not? Etc. Right? Trash or smash. Did we do that one year?
Smash or trash.
Smash or trash. Like, don't smash these baits. Just use them or trash them. So we're gonna go through all of that. I think it should be a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, you guys. Make sure you're subscribed and all that good stuff. Let's start with a quick Q of the D. This is one that I threw up because I threw up when this happened to me. This came out of the Kayak Adventure series. First day, end of the day, like 20 minutes left in lines in time, right? So we had 4 hours to fish. I'm having an okay day. I'm trying to cull my 5 fish and like I need something big. The best I was getting was 15.5 inches. And if you saw the spread of this tournament, it was like 70 to 84, 82 inches was like the max, like the spread of the group. And then there was like 4 guys that got over 82 inches. It was bananas, right? So that 70 to 82 inches was like 45 anglers. Actually, no, it was more like 55 out of 84 anglers, which is insane. So a couple inches could jump you like 20 spots, right? So super tight race. End of the buzzer beater here. I'm thinking I got a buzzer beater fish. I flip a Ned rig up into the slop by a little tree lay down. I get a bite. I'm like, oh yeah, feels good. See the fish swimming up to the boat. Looks good. Get my net. Reach the net underneath the fish. It jumps out of the water head first. You know what's going to happen. It shakes the hook. It dodges the net like a freaking ninja and then zips out. See you later. So my question is this. When you're going to lose a fish, right? So you lose a fish. Would you rather see it or not see it? Like shakes the hook underwater. You're like, I don't know what that was. That sucks. We've all had that happen. Swims under the boat, pops the hook, whatever. Or you see it, it breaches. You're like, that's a good fish. Shakes the hook, dips out. What would you rather have?
Paul? Gotta see it.
Gotta see. You would rather see it. It's like it's heartbreaking, but at least you feel
I want the data.
Justified.
I want the data. I want to know what I'm doing is working. I want to know, like, because sometimes you get those like 14-inch fish that pull like a giant. And you're like, where'd you come from?
Like, yes. Gets the boat, jumps off.
I don't want to be tricked. Oh, well. I want the data.
It's so heartbreaking, but I agree. Like if you see it, especially if it's a nice fish, that's where like you cry a little bit. I have on film me literally like falling to pieces. Yeah, well, weeping with F words, like just F. And I was like, cool, more unusable footage with Jeff.
You were weeping. I think for sure, I would make it worse in my own head 80% of the time. If I was making it up, I'd be like, "There's no way that wasn't a 75-inch bass."
Yeah. Well, then you would fit in right with my brother here, who's like, disguise my
With
failed attempt with
nonsense.
nonsense. Don't
Fishing
want to see
lies.
it. Nothing happened. It was a giant, probably. It was a
Yeah,
sturgeon.
it was definitely a shark.
Definitely a shark. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go with I would rather see it as well. I just thought it was an
I gotta see
interesting
it.
question based on the predicament that I was dealt. Like that fish was easily 18, was the biggest fish I had seen the whole trip, and I had it under net, right? Like just that thing would have jumped me 20 spots.
I don't like thinking about the weight of a fish that I've seen though. That bothers me.
Yeah.
When you see a fish and someone's like, "Oh, that's a 3-pounder." I'm like, unless you've seen 10,000 of
Yeah.
those, there's no way underwater, there's
Some people
no
I
way you can
trust,
tell.
most people I don't.
If it's on the line,
Yep.
like you caught it and you had it pulling and you saw it, I can believe that within a half a pound, you're probably pretty close. As long as you're not saying it was a 6-pounder.
Yeah.
Like, as
I,
long as it's like, "Oh, that was my personal," you know what I mean? Like, that I don't know. But
I
when you
I
just
feel like I
see
did
one
that
go
early on.
underwater and you're like, "4-pounder," not you, but, like, in general,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
someone's like, "4-pounder." I've done it before, and I've been like, "Shut up. You don't
I
know.
have
You
too. I
can't
stopped
know.
doing that.
You can't know." Like, how many times
Yeah,
you pulled one out? 3, 4, 2. It's a 2. It's a
it's a
2-pounder
2.
for sure.
Or
It's
like
just like, oh god.
the other weekend we were frog fishing and I got one from like
A
40
mile out.
yards, just
Yeah.
all the way back. You hit that like slack line hook set, you basically fall out of your kayak, you're
Yeah.
reeling it in with slop all over it. You're like, this is gonna be good. You get it to the boat and you're like,
It's a
that's
bird.
12
It's
inches.
a crappie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crap. I did catch a warmouth on a frog,
That was
both
insane.
hooks. That was nuts.
That
I'll
video
make a
will go.
short
I'll
out of
do that
that.
one tomorrow. I'll put that one up for you tomorrow. The video of that one. All right.
Fair enough.
We are woefully undergunned when it comes to hours in order to do these reviews. So here's Jeff did a very nice job of putting everything into
Well, thank
categories.
you.
We did our very best to make sure that we were capturing all the stuff that we kind of had it in our heads as important. We're gonna go
Mhm.
category by category. Here's what you're getting from us today. You're getting a 1 through 10 from Jeff and I, a maybe one sentence on why, right? The justification. And then if you guys are discussing it in chat, we'll bring in some comments and we'll speak to them if it's like a
Yep.
hot topic. But we have probably 75 things to get through. And I do want to get through
Yeah.
everything. So we also
Yep.
lump some stuff. So like you're gonna see some like categories versus some other stuff. So yeah.
That's sick, DeBurley. Almost a 6.
5.91 from DeBurley, who is
Get out of town.
he is in the South though. He is in Tennessee.
Yeah,
If
but
someone from Michigan said
591,
that,
baby.
that's close to that's probably a master angler fish. You're probably getting a patch from the state.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
absurd. I can't even imagine. Every time I get a 5, I'm like,
When I get a
blows my
5,
mind.
that's the top. That's been so we have not gotten anything over like truly over
Correct.
5 ever. We've
Not
hit
even like a
5.
hair over
We've
5.
hit 5 a number of times,
It's on the
but it's
top.
like 5.01. Like
Yeah,
it's
505.
never like 5.5. It's
Yeah.
just 5. And
Flat.
it's wild because it's happened. Jeff, we probably caught between us 10 5-pounders in the last 3 years.
Yeah, at least
2 or 3 a year, right?
2 or 3 a year each.
Yes.
Yeah,
And like,
it's been like that.
but it's not. It never gets over.
It's always in the spring, maybe the fall.
Fall.
I don't think I've had one in the summer.
The
We don't
biggest
fish. We
ones,
need to fish deeper, but yeah,
the longest fish are in the fall. The heaviest fish have always been in the spring.
always in the spring. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we get those spring fatties. We go out in March, April. We
On
get a
small
couple
lakes
spring.
too.
Yeah, on small lakes, we get a couple spring fatties. Like the biggest fish in that lake is what I feel like. These are tiny.
You're
My
hitting the
lake
top
here-
0.5%.
This lake is 78 acres, like that I live on. Like, and we fish it most of the time. So tiny lakes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, let's get into this. So let's start with rods. I'll go with the first one here because that's the one I use, and I've been using it a lot lately. So the Arc Invoker. Now I'm talking for me personally, it's a Tour Series heavy. It's a 7.6. It is 9 out of 10 for me. It's my favorite frog rod.
Did you get the Pro? You got the Tour Series.
Tour Series. Yeah,
That's
it's the
160.
160.
And the Pros are 200.
Yeah, I think the Pro's a
160
step
as
up,
well.
and
They're
then there's
160 as well.
and then there's one below that, or maybe an older model that's been on sale on Tackleware for a while. It's sick. I love that rod. A lot of forgiveness on the hook sets. I have landed like 50 frogfish on it in the past 4 weeks. It's been like since the beginning of June. Been catching on frogs every trip out, except for last weekend, which was trash, but I figured something else out, so it's fine. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Next one, since I'm the only one that has used these. I don't know if you
I
can
haven't
comment
touched
on these. You tell me. The Megabass Levante rod. I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10 for style, 7.5 out of 10 for execution. I think it's a great rod. I think they hit a lot of micro niches with the models that they put out, which is kind of cool. So the one I got is their flat side special. It's a 7-foot regular action, like a mod fast. It's nice, really like it. I find that I'm not grabbing it that much. Maybe because it's a 7 and I prefer like a 7.3, 7.6, especially for cranks. I want a longer stick, but I haven't used it for jerk baits a lot.
Yeah, it's a spring rod.
It is a spring rod, so I'm not grabbing it right now much at all. I'm going for the heavier sticks, medium, heavy.
99% of the time, I want something over 7 foot.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm not grabbing it. It's a great rod. It loses points because of price. It's $200, but it is one of the sexiest looking fishing rods I've ever seen at a sub 200 price point. Just done.
I would go the TFO Taction is the nicest of the rods that we got from TFO. As the price point would suggest. It's like if you pumped money and quality into a working man's setup. So I think it's probably 8.5 out of 10. 10 being like I couldn't not buy it no matter what the price.
Perfect.
1 being can't purchase it. 8.5 is a very high score. I'm not going to go too far above that in anywhere. The options series was very nice, but the actions are a little stiffer than I would like on all the ones that I got.
Aren't those all mods? Are those all mods?
No, all of mine were fast action, and they were a little faster than what I would have wanted.
The professionals.
The professional is my favorite. So
I love
professional is the $100 range.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that you're not getting with the professional, and granted, this is $100, like 109,
120. It's 119.
That's the option, I thought.
The option's 139. The Taction is like 159.
Yes, and then
see if I remember. I'm guessing, right? I'm pretty sure I'm right. TFO's slight
professionals 109.
Is it 109?
Between 109 and 120. Depends on which one you get.
I can see.
Yeah. So, but you can get them for like right now. They're $90.
Yeah, they're freaking sweet.
So love that. In my opinion, the professional per dollar is the best. It's so nice. The only thing you don't get though, and this is kind of a big deal, the quality of the graphite goes down a bit from the option, so all the profiles of the rods are a little thicker. Like the diameter of the rod's a little bigger. I would be willing to pay up for some rods to the option series on the Baitcaster lineups for that. The spinning setups is where I would go for the Taction. I think the Taction, you get your money's worth out of the spinners. So I think they're all really nice. The whole lineups, all the new ones get like the 8.5 score.
Yeah.
But it's a little, you kind of got to like use them all and figure out like, okay, where do I want to spend up? For me, Taction, spending up all the way, go with your best spinning rod. Like you're going to be really happy. The option bass, get the Baitcaster. And then if you don't know, or you're trying something new, absolutely go with the professional. You're going to be happy. And oh my God, that's brutal.
Uncle Stumpy. That hurts a lot.
Nasty. I got something to match you though, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So we got to hear because it has to do.
We'll do that later. We can do that later. We'll get that.
All right. We'll get to your little rod situation, but I would say I'm gonna mirror what you said on TFO. The Taction is phenomenal. It's my favorite spinning setup. I grab it every time, and I love my professional. I don't have a Taction casting or option casting. That's what you have, but they're great. TFO rods, absolutely love them.
I'm a fan. Then speaking of which, the TFO Panfish Pro, the new one. I've used the 3-piece 7-foot light, and it is effing awesome. That gets I can't give it a 9 only because it is a redesign of a rod that was already awesome. But the sage green color is way better. It has one of the best hook holders in the game for ultralight. The fact that they have so many friggin' options, and the price point at 120, it's silly. And then the stainless steel guides for the river, I do like. So for me, it gets the 8.75. But it's like a step above, actually. I think it's really nice.
I love it. I think it's a great ultralight rod. Absolutely fantastic. Now that the aggressively average ultralight rod,
I'm pushing everybody that way.
Just go get
if
that.
You ask, I would love to say our rod, but I'm putting you to the TFO. It is arguably the best, and this would go for the spinning. Like it's a great rod.
So Doug here over on Facebook right now has a rod we're gonna be testing out. So he's with Fish NFX, and he helped us get our badges for ICAST. So shout outs to Doug and Fish NFX.
Huge shout out.
We're going to do a little showcase with him when we do our rod video. So we'll definitely be checking that out. And apparently he's sending them to us. So that could become quickly one of my favorite rods. Let's go.
It's already slotting in it for the 8.5 score.
Already got 8.5 points.
Shimano SLX rod. Look, I have not gotten to use it yet, so I cannot give it a score. I will say this. At the $100, it's very, very nice. And I got the heavy, yes. And I'm comparing it to the option. I'll tell you right now. It's good for $100. It's very good. So it gets a higher score, but when you compare it to the option at 130, I would take the extra $30 because again, the profile of that rod's a lot smaller. The grips are nice, but it's just not for me. If someone only had $100, they should absolutely go get that rod. It's the best value at $100. One of the best.
We'll see, because I got the Tatula XT rod coming in tomorrow,
and I have the Arc Viper coming to compare it to. So we're gonna have to do like $100 rod breakdown, and we got to get casking in there too, because every time I get a casking rod, I'm like, these are money. This is really nice. So I think that's somewhere in there. The last one we have on here. Oh, so I get the SLX, not having used it a ton. I get it a 7. It's still pretty legit. Cast King Kestrel rods.
Pretty solid.
I love mine.
4 or 5 of these rods.
That's 4.
Yeah, we've had the spinning ultralight and light. We've had the BFS ultralight and light. And I think you had one other one.
I had 2. So I had the super ultralight with the featherweight,
which you broke. Featherweight.
Broke it immediately. The casting light, and then I have the bait casting 7-foot something 3-piece. And that one is sick. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Like it's legit.
They are solid. They're $90, I believe. So
$89.99. It's a crazy deal.
Yeah.
The only there is one drawback though. The bait casting ones, it's got a very short butt section. I wish it was an inch longer, maybe 2. I could get way more casting power, and I would like that personally.
Fair enough. Great rod overall. 8.3 out of 10. 8.5.
8. I'm gonna go 8.
8 flat. I'll go
8 because that super ultralight, it's clearly shouldn't exist.
The featherlight.
The featherlight, it's cool. It's a cool idea. It shouldn't be there.
Yeah, instant explosion of.
So it gets the 8, but they're still really good. So all the ones that are good are offsetting all the stuff that maybe I don't like. So it's really good.
Facts. All right, so that's what we had for rods. Would have loved to have gotten into more rods, more reels out of last year. It's just like one of the highest expense items. It's just so much easier for us to get baits. And we'll get more next year. So
we have a lot of reels to go through, though.
We have a lot of reels. So let's get into the reels. We'll start with Arc. Because Arc, we have 3 of them that we've now tested, and I'd say all 3 of them rank very high.
Very high.
The Arc BFS, it's my go-to BFS setup. 9 out of 10. 9. Love it. Absolutely.
It could be better if it was a little cheaper, but it's insane.
Yeah, 149, I think, $150.
It's worth every penny.
I think it's solid right up the middle in terms of all the BFS reels out there. Some people say like go cheap or go expensive or go home. And I'm like, there's stuff.
You could just get 2 of those and be done. That's all you need.
Well, they'll say go get the Aldebaran, get the Salamandura, whatever.
You don't need to. As a Salamandura owner, which that should be on this list too for rankings. That
Iowa Salamandura.
The Salamandura would get a 9. It gets 9 on performance. It gets a 6 on value. So I think you're at an 8, 7.5, 8. It's a great reel. But after the Arc BFS is out, it's like you don't need it. So.
The Watcher disagrees with us. Arc sucks straight up.
SLXA. Let's talk SLXA because I bought one.
Yeah,
it's the same as the SLX. It has 2 different bushings. Mine, I have it right here. It's unspooled. and it's unusable because the teeth broke out of it. It's this thing. If you
It,
give
it
it any pressure at
exploded.
all, look, it doesn't work.
We took
So
it apart like 6 times trying to fix it. We couldn't fix it.
that's very disappointing, honestly, because this is typically for me a workhorse, and I have the
Yep.
bearing kit for this inside of this that is unusable.
Yep.
So when it worked, it was great, and it didn't work for forever. So for me, I know it's really great. I have to go out on everyone else's experiences, and it worked well for me when it did. It's still only getting a 7 for me because the A, we didn't need it.
Yeah. That hurt, man, because I was surprised that a Shimano.
I am dying inside.
It made no sense. So some
You
people
made
hate
me
ours.
go buy a BB1 Pro.
It did make you buy a BB1 Pro, which is going to be fantastic for you. So yeah, ultimately it looks like some folks hate ARC, and that's fine. We like
weird to me because
so far what I've
let's
used,
talk about
I've
the ARC
enjoyed.
G5.
So the G5 is overall solid reel. It is close to 200. It's like 189. So it's close to 200 bucks.
I thought, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of options around that price point. BB1,
Tough.
199.99. You know, it's like it is really hard, but even up against those, I like it a lot. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I think there's some things on it that could be dialed in. I really like their braking system, though. Big fan of it. And once I got it kind of figured out, I mean, I'm casting miles with it and having a good old fashioned time. So that's my opinion. I think it's good. 8 out of 10.
It's in the workhorse category. I think
Yep.
like it in that the quality of the G5 makes it so you don't have to go get like I have the oh, it's not in here.
The G1.
No,
you're talking about something else?
I was gonna say the like to pay up for like a Tatula. I don't think you really need to. I think you get away with the G5.
That's a
and
hot take.
Save $50. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I like the Tatula, but like,
Yeah,
the G5 is fine. Honestly, so let's go ARC G1. So we just got it. I've used it for maybe 5-6 hours
$89.
at $90. Bruh. Now
It's
it doesn't
pretty
have the fancy adjustment that the other ones do. And I think that's how you get down from the G5 to the G1 at that price point.
Yep.
I think that's how they did it. That said, it's got the regular external adjustment. It was the smoothest reel on $100 that we tested, and I love it. It's great. Now, the drawback, the reason it's only going to get a 7 for me is that it only comes in 6.4, which is okay. But if it had 2 other options or 1 other option in the 7s, I'd buy 3 of them.
Yeah,
they're worth it.
Did we post our budget reel review on the water?
No.
We not. We have that too. So we have this library of videos we gotta post. Okay. I thought I uploaded that. I'll have to make sure I uploaded that again for you. But so we did do the sub $100 reels, and we reviewed them on the water. We fished with them for a while, casting around jigs and stuff. And we're pleasantly surprised with most of them, like 5 out of 6 of them. They came out pretty solid. So there's a lot of great budget options, and we would love to do more budget reviews on the channel. So we're going to. We just talked about Paul and I ordered 2 around, $100 mark rods that we can compare. And then you have the SLXA that can fall into that as well. So we're going to review a bunch of those at that price point. ARC, Shimano, Daiwa, etc. Bunch of them. Should be a lot of fun. Speaking of budget options, one of the reels that blew me away, and actually I've been using consistently the last 3 trips I went out, is the PC Fun Alloy M. So for everybody that recommended that, thank you. I know DeBurley picked one up too. We talked about it on our members only live last week. He was like, I'm gonna get one, and he ordered it while he was on the live. $60, really nice reel. So yeah, I'm gonna be using it, man. I'm gonna have a $60 reel on. I think I'm gonna put it on the Tatula X, or not? Yeah, the Tatula XT when I get it. So it'll be my jig and worm setup. Big fan of that reel. Surprised the heck out of me. I did not expect that out of a PC Fun, let alone a $60 reel. So great option. You talked about your SLXA. Let's talk about the Akuma X series. The Akuma X series. Alloy M.
Skipped a couple.
8 out of 10. What I skip?
Oh, you did. No, you're right. You're right. You went back.
We're good. We're cooking. Akuma X series. Holy crap. Really nice reel. It's on my medium heavy psycho stick right now. I use it every trip. It's mostly like moving baits, but chatterbaits, spinner baits, that kind of stuff I'm using it for. It's insane. It's also, unless you get it on sale, which sometimes Tackle Warehouse does like flash sales on this one. I've seen it as low as $240, I think. It's a $280 reel. So factoring in the price, got to knock it a little bit. I would still give it like an 8.3. I think it's a really, really nice reel.
It's
just
hard
don't
to
like spending that
explain
much on a reel.
how light and small it is and how much power is packed into it.
It's bananas. I like it a lot. So 8.3 out of 10.
Probably never get the props that they deserve.
They never will. They'll get hated on for sure. All the time.
No sense. They make some great bass stuff. All right. Let's talk about the Revo SX, both the rocket and the shallow spool. You have the shallow spool. I got the rocket. You just got a rocket.
Yeah. We bought 3 Abu Garcia Revo SXs, their latest gen, which I think is Gen 5 or whatever, which I don't remember if it was like talked about at ICAST last year. I think it came out before that, maybe just before it. The newest gen with like their new adjusted grip setup. They're so freaking nice. I love that reel. It's one of my favorites. This is why I have 2. So I have a flipping shallow spool setup.
They're big.
They're I don't think they're that big, but they are not small.
Yeah, they're going to be, if you have all 100s size reels or 150s, this
be a slight step
closer to a 200.
Which I like for the frogging and jigging setup.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just making a call out. They're a little on the larger size. Like that's like why
beefy to me, it goes on the beefy setup for beefy rigs.
I agree. I'm not saying it's not good, but it is larger than, so like the Akuma X series, you could frog with that rod, no problem. It's got all the horsepower required. It's half the size of an SX.
It is.
It's so tiny. So just something to think about when you, like, if you like to flip, but you're using a high-end setup, if you slap a Revo on it, it's going to overweight the whole friggin' thing. It's big.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be weird. And that actually leads me to another.
Wait, what's our score on this?
Oh, I would give the rocket a 7.8.
I'm going to give it an 8.5. Big fan.
Oh, that's high. Nice.
I like it a lot.
I do like it a lot. It is a little spendy. And the way that they did the pricing, there's really only one that you can buy.
Yeah, like I don't get why would you get the STX and then the price between the X and the SX doesn't make sense
$80
to me.
Or whatever, because to 60. Go up, whatever, because
every step up
aluminum like side plate that you don't need. It really there's really only, if you do the math on it, there's really only one to buy. Like that's the whole thing about Abu Garcia. Like I don't want to buy any of them because the way they priced it, there's really only one reel that I would have to buy.
I'm the same way, man. Every time. So you go to Tackle Warehouse, you click Abu, they have like 25 reels, and I'm like, SX. No, everything else, don't need it.
That's not worth it. So we did try the Max Pro, and that was a $90, just under $100 section. And we kind of thought like, look, we'll get the Max, but then the Max only came in like a 6, and I was like, ooh, that kind of sucks. The Max Pro came in a 7, which was nice, but you had to pay up for it. Got it in hand, compared it to a lot of the other ones. It just felt heavy. I didn't like that it was the same exact reel as the old Lew's like LFS models. So didn't love anything about that at all. No, I wouldn't say it felt heavier duty. So, but didn't make any sense. I was like, this is silly. I'm out. Then I used it and I'm like, all right, I think it's just heavy duty. I really think it's heavy duty. So it is heavy. It's a little bulky. Fishes really well. Fishes a lot of things really well. And the grips are very nice. So I got to give it to him on the grip. So I kind of went backwards. It's still not worth $90, especially after using the ARC G1. Way smoother. I'll probably give it a 6.8.
I would also give it a 6.7. I'll change it to be a little different from you. I like it. I feel like it's that reel you get for your kid that wants to fish that is irresponsible with their stuff. Like they want a nice baitcaster, but they're going to
hell out of
throw it
Have
everywhere.
Fun. Not going to be a problem.
Nope.
It's solid. If I got that as my first baitcaster, you'd be you'd be like through the roof. And like I've said this on the review video. If you bought it, you're not mad about it. If after playing with it, you had the option to go get a G1, you'd be like, and then if after that you were like, okay, save $10 and go get an LFS, or save $10 and get SLX. It's no brainer. It doesn't.
The LFS was $25.
$80. It was $80. Yeah, it's crazy.
So nuts.
And that is just a significantly better reel, just in general. So the Max Pro for me, it's an L, but like if you have one, you should be happy because it really is pretty solid.
Yeah, big fan. Let's go to a new one that I've only used for, according to the Cast King app, 8 casts is what I put on the site. It records all the casts even if you don't have your phone up. So we got the iReel 2, which is not available yet. I think the IFC and the iReel is available right now. So this is going to be a $350 reel. It's bougie. Oh, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do the zzz. So I can confirm the iReel does not have a zzz like a DC does, just so you guys know. There's Corrado DC. So homie stepped up. Well, $270 budget reel there.
All gift card.
All gift. Yeah, he messaged me. He's like, I got a Corrado DC. I was like, dude, what? Isn't that like $270? What are you doing? He was like, $60. Add a gift card. I was like, hell yeah, dude. Do it. Get that bag. So yeah, we're gonna do a battle of the robot reels, you guys. We have the iReel 2, which I put 8 casts into. So basically just one day, couple casts, took it out to dial it in, test it out. It's big, definitely a bigger reel. It's so pretty comfortable. Yeah, the DC is a little bit bigger. I think they're really nice. I think they cast really nice, and both the Corrado DC, the SLX DC actually, and the iReel. Yeah, so it's a little bit chunkier.
The SLX side by side, it's a lot chunkier. Like, yep. It's significantly bigger.
Yeah, I think Corrados typically are, unless you get the MGL or the 70.
I have the MGL. It's not any. It's this part right here. Nowhere near this. This is way bigger than this.
She chunky, man. All right, I like it. As far as the iReel, if I had to give it a score right now, having barely used it, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 in terms of usage. The app is getting a 3.8, and that's something I really want to talk to Cast King about. Not that they care what I think, but that app, if it was dialed in, would be more fun to use. But the way it is right now, it crashes when you whenever I try to link the data. So like you go use the reel, you can go back to your phone and be like, how did my day go? And you can look at every single cast if you want to. So the data is nice. The app crashes too much. I would love that app to get updated and improved. Then I would give it a higher score. And the iReel 2, so far, very nice. Got to use it a lot more. Haven't caught a fish on it or anything. Literally just cast around a spinner bait like 8 times, and then it wasn't it for the day. So
I would have to give it a high score for, like, conceptually, the idea of it. Like, even
the idea is a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, even the plating on it is like a new manufacturing.
Gorgeous reel.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The their version of the Daiwa wing is it's probably better, honestly. I think it's better going sideways versus going up and down. I think it's better. And then the
line guide you're talking about, the line guide setup.
Yep. And then
versus the TWS system.
Versus the TWS. That's right. Mm-hmm. And then I think the idea that they made their own chip, no one else has done it, neat. And they did it, and it works, pretty freaking good. So it's like, I gotta give it to them. I mean, that should factor into the score. Maybe it did. Maybe without all that, the score is like a 5 or a 4. And then with it, maybe it's a 7 or an 8, and then it's very expensive. It's over $300. So I think you're probably right. Somewhere in the 6 is probably where it needs to be.
Yeah, it gets a bump for all the concept ideas. I'd love to see it dialed in. The app is mainly the issue. One of the cool things about this reel, you guys, is there is no adjustments to be made. You don't do any mag adjustments, neither internal or external. You don't do any spool tension. It's actually just a fixed kind of bolt on the side. You don't adjust it. Like, you don't do anything. The chip does everything. So that's pretty nuts. I was thinking back to when we cast it last year, the original iReel, and I was like, we didn't do anything to it. We didn't look at dialing it. I couldn't even remember if you could. And with the iReel 2, at least, you can't. You don't do anything. So very interesting. Excited to actually use it a bit more. Probably use it this weekend when we go out and play around with it a bit. So there you go. That's our score on that. The Kestrel BFS Cheap Edition, I'm calling it, because there's 2 Kestrels. There's the Elite and the regular. So the Elite, Paul has been using a lot. That's the one he recently lost the spool tension knob on. And yeah, there it is right there with the Gomex's handle. Also, if you guys can see it, I don't know, your screen's kind of blurry right now. But we've shown it in videos before. decent BFS reel, totally overbraked, very hard to cast distance. You're not getting distance on this thing. That's the biggest issue, unless you take a bunch of magnets out or something. Did like it.
No, you will if you go above an 1/8 of an ounce.
Right. So if you go basically just light gear instead of ultralight or BFS. The cheap edition I've used and caught fish on. By the way, these casking reels we review that we talk about, they're all right-handers and we are left-handers when we retrieve. So I want that noted. We're not knocking it for that. We're literally treating it as if we were retrieving on the right, which a lot of people, like most people do. So Casking just sends us these things sometimes and they don't like go, hey, do you want a lefty? They're like, oh, you're normal people, probably right. We're not. So I don't know. All my lefties, shout out to you in the chat though. That's how I prefer to do it. I'm figuring it out from the right, very uncomfortable, but I'm not going to knock it for that at all. In any review we do, that wouldn't be fair. I have enjoyed it so far. The BFS, $120. It's cheaper than the Arc that I love. And it's close to as good. Like it's pretty solid. It's a little more flexy, a little lighter weight, plasticky material in comparison to whatever composite carbon material they're using on the Arc. So a little less stiff material, feels kind of flexy in hand, still very comfortable cast, dialed it in pretty quick. I tend to overspool on it more than I do on my Arc. I don't think it's a dialing thing. I think it's that spool just really wants to spin because it wants to get that distance. So it's more of a thumbing situation for me. So it's a skill situation that I just need to improve. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised with that reel. I think it's very solid. I'll give it an 8. So I'll just go flat 8 on that thing out of 10. I think it's great for $120. The spinning reels that we got from Cast King, the Kestrel and the Zephyr, they're shallow spool. The Kestrel, I think, is phenomenal. Like, you like that? I think that's a great spinning reel. What is it? 130?
I think it's
maybe?
150.
Is it? Price knocks it points because that is very high, in my opinion, for a spinning reel. It's 120.
I'll check it.
120. I just pulled it up. So that's $120. The Zephyr, about $45 cheaper. Still a good reel. Has a lot of the factors that I don't like in cheaper spinning reels. The very clicky drag, that plasticky, clicky sound. That's just more annoying to me. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. Every Temu reel we ever got had that, essentially. They can still function. I just don't like it. But the Zephyr, I think, for the price, pretty heckin' solid spinning reel. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. $75. It's insane.
I would have gone 8 on the Kestrel if it weren't for the price. I'll go 7.5. It's still really great and it looks really good. And I think that these shallow spools actually they need to cut the spools in half, the depth for spinning reels, because there's no need.
Unless you're going big game fishing.
Don't need it. Why are they making you use all that line?
For the way we fish, it's completely unnecessary. Almost everything except for your frog and reel could be like a shallow spool setup. Like you could get away with it. And I did frogged with my shallow spool
for everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So overall, those two spinning reels, pretty solid. 7.5 from him, 7.5 from me. Let's go to the Shimano Nasi. Nasi is $100. It's got not the Hagane body, because that's what we said incorrectly on the videos. The Hagane gears, very smooth, big fan. I like it a lot. At $100, I put that on my TFO Taction. It's medium light, my drop shot setup. I use it every single week for multiple fish. I put a lot of time on the water on that setup. I love that reel even more than the ITX from Akuma, in my opinion, which is a much more expensive reel. So I love both. I love my ITX on my ultralight setup, and that's where it lives. And then I love this one. I got a bigger size, of course, which you can with the ITX. I just don't have one. But I went with the 2500 size Nasi, and that's on the medium light. Love it. So score out of 10, 8 out of 10. I like it. You'll be very happy with it if you get one. You got the Miravel and the Stratic. So these two Shimano reels, what are your opinions on those? And this is the newer Stratic that came out last year.
Stratic is incredible. Miravel is better value.
Ooh. How
The
much is the Miravel?
Miravel and the Stratic are both getting an 8.5.
8.5. So that's kind of a top score from us with most
Top.
things.
For
Yeah.
me, that's pretty much the top.
So the Miravel is $130. We need to do a comparison to the Nasi and be like, okay, do you just spend up $30 no matter what? Or
Miravel destroys the Abu Garcia Zada.
Oh yeah. Well, we both
And the
use
Zada,
that.
no, the Zada is really nice, but it's
It is
really
really it's
expensive.
$170.
Is it 170 or is it 140?
Yeah, it's way more than the Miravel.
It's expensive. The Miravel is better. Stratic, more expensive, incredibly nice. The Miravel's best value out of the bunch.
200 for the Stratic. That's the FM, which is the one you got. That's the one that came out last year.
Yep.
So the Stratic FM, $200. Super bougie spinning reel. You could save $70 for that. Miravel, or in my opinion, you could just do the Nasi for $100. But
Nasi's really nice.
There's going to be Stratic, like religious folks.
The Miravel has a look. No
Yep.
one will talk about the Miravel probably ever, and it's a huge mistake by all.
Yeah, and then
just like the next one.
Well, hang on. So folks in chat are talking about the Vanford, which is a $250 spinning
It's never going to happen.
I'm not seeing that as better value. Some folks were saying better value.
No.
It's a
I could get 3 Miravels.
That's right. Well,
two Miravels or 3 Nasis.
The meeting of what you get and what you pay is what we're looking at for value. So that's why we feel there's just great options out there. I'd love to use a Vanford at some point in time. I know when we went fishing with Smallmouth Crush, all he had.
I won't know the difference. Yeah. I won't know the difference. I'm not that good. I don't catch fish that big.
Yes, at our skill set, not that important. For my fancy folk out there, people fishing for a living, like get the best of the best, man. You should. Sure. I don't think for us it is.
The next one is the Okuma ISX, which is no longer new. They have a new, but the ISX
series just
is $100. Aluminum body, straight. One of the nicest cranking reels out there. Has a super deep spool. I'll tell you right now, for $100,
it's bonkers.
It's insane. It is the best value at $100 for a spinning reel that I can quote you.
Yeah, you would take it over the Nasi. You haven't used the Nasi.
I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Sure.
But if you want bulletproof, I'm going Okuma. If you want like more refined,
great, smooth,
nicer design,
sure,
I'm probably going the Nasi. But if you need a workhorse, I'm going
ISX, baby,
all day.
$100 is great. Like
it's made of iron. It's insane. It's
not,
but it's a really nice reel.
Can you imagine an iron reel? A tungsten reel. All right. So I think that's we just covered the reels. That was like our biggest. Well, baits is coming up, so hang on. But yeah, pretty big section there we just got through. Let's real quick briefly touch on kayaks because we've been talking a lot about kayaks lately, and I feel like most of our audience is not exactly here for that. So
not today,
not recently. And let's talk about them. So recently got the Titan X. Titan X came out of last year's ICAST. It blew a lot of people away. Also, native, not big marketing, man. Not a lot of marketing going on in this thing. Bonafide, skyrocket to the moon. Native, it's whatever. So there's like no hype, no videos on it. I love the Titan X. I think it's a fantastic kayak. It is way too heavy for what you have. So it gets knocked for that. It's 170 pounds, I think, dry and empty. That's heavy. That's so heavy for a kayak. So there's no way I can not talk about that. Other than that, I've been blown away by it. As happy as I was when I got my first Hobie, which was going for me from an Old Town Predator that was like 10 years old to the Hobie PA 12 was the first one I had. The stability, everything just blew me away. Storage space, all of that. Then we got our 14s, and I loved those for a year till they started falling apart on us constantly. But overall, I've liked the Titan X as much, if not better, in some circumstances than those rigs. That kayak to me gets an 8.5 out of 10. It's phenomenal. Yeah. The only points I'm knocking really Inability to access the middle of it for wiring, which is more of an annoyance than ultimately like I need to knock this a bunch of points. It's just annoying that you can't get in the middle because I'm spoiled by my Hobies with the middle hatch. That part, the weight. If
And
you
the
don't want to
water.
deal with, yeah, it's not fast too. I guess I got to knock it for that. It's a barge. But I'm okay with that because I put a freaking motor on it. So I don't
Yeah,
care.
well, and
It's not slow. It's not like,
you're sacrificing for stability.
yeah. And the stability is
Very good.
the
Best of the best.
maybe the most stable kayak I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Even over the PA. Like
Yep.
it's insane
Yep.
how stable it is. Love it, love it, love it. Let's go to your Old Town. Also not new, 106 pedal, but new to us for the past 6 months.
The fact that everyone doesn't have one is mind blowing. It's a 9
know.
out of 10 for me.
I was waiting for that.
I
was like,
wrote it. It's probably gonna be the highest score thing that I give out. It is the perfect pond hopping kayak, and it can handle big water and small water. If you can only have one, this is the one I would tell everyone to get.
$2,200 pedal.
You'll never, and it's hard to imagine. It's really hard to imagine that 10-foot kayak can do that much that well.
Yeah.
Stand up and it, fish it, no problem. I put like no accessories on it and just fished it, and I could hang with anybody. And then when you put the price in there, dude, it's stupid. Now the 120 is really nice. Get the 120 if you just want the extra length and want to afford it. But the 106 is an unbelievable kayak. It just does so much so well. Love it. I love it.
Can't say enough about it. I love it. All right. Crescents. So Crescents come out with a whole bunch of new stuff. And by the way, you guys, we have booked mostly an appointment.
August 17th.
August
Saturday,
17th.
4 a.m.
Well, that's when we start driving. That's for sure. We're going back to Water Dog. Oh, look, I'm wearing their hat. Look at that. Love that store. Love Steve. Want to support the community. Just such a great. He's doing so many cool things in that little town. Like that little town is so fun. Whitehall, Michigan. If you guys are ever in the Michigan area, you're going on vacation, whatever, go there. It's such a great vacation spot. And there's so much water and so much to do. And Water Dog is just a staple of that community. They're awesome. So want to support them. We're going back there. We're going to test out the newer kayaks from Crescent, as well as some things that we haven't tried for like the Bonafide PWR, for example, just to throw another name in the hat. But there's a bunch of other ones they carry as well. They've got Old Town, they've got New Canoe, they've got Native, they've got Bonafide, they've got Crescent, and they even have, like some Pelican and other things, I think.
Pescador, whoever does Pescador.
Yep. So they got a bunch of those things. We're definitely going to check them out. Crescents for us, we have the Sholey, we have the Light Tackle 2. We love them both to the moon and back. We think they're fantastic vessels. Tertiary stability, so very stable. Not what you're thinking of when you think pontoon boats like Titan X, but very stable. Love the Light Tackle 2. You've been rocking forever, and you've got your new port on it now. We'll rate later in the show. But yeah, it's all around. I think Crescent's doing some really cool stuff, man, and I'm excited to try out their new kayaks.
The Light Tackle 2 for the price and the weight and what comes with it. If they made a drop-in bin for the front hatch that you could drop in on its own, it would be a 9. It's going to get the 8.5 for me. And I will say this is in my bold predictions. Later, kayak related, it's coming up because not having a pedal drive as an option is a problem for that kayak. So it's going to get the like 8.25, but for the money, you're getting 12.6 of well-designed kayak. It's silly. And then the Sholey, I'm going to go 9. No, I'll go 8.75. It's so good. 8.75.
I'll go 9. It is my favorite river kayak that I've ever used, and I've used a decent amount of river kayaks. It's so good. It's so light. I'm not putting anything on it. It gets an anchor, and that's about it. And then a crate to carry my tackle. But I love just running light. I'm doing that. Oh my Josh, JD America just came back in hot with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Support Gang is out today, apparently. We did 50 gifted memberships a couple of weeks ago. That was insane. This is a kind of a newer feature to YouTube. So JD America has just gifted 10 memberships for a month to a bunch of different folks, and I actually can see their names in YouTube chat. So Tequin Roberts gets a month. Jason, Blind Eye Fishing.
Tequin,
Ooh.
Jason, Blind Eye.
Michael Thacker, Adventures of M&M, Craig Lake, Michael Rhodes, Stephen Ewan, and Airman 929565 and Jack K. Welcome aboard. I saw Blind Eye's name. I'm like, I can't wait for Discord arguments with Blind Eye. This is gonna be so fun. Blind Eye's always checking. He's always checking in the comments. I love it. All right. So thank you so much for that, JD America. That's fantastic. Real quick, last kayak, Old Town Big Water. I think it's great. I kind of would rather have a Crescent CK2 adventure. Would be great. Would be fantastic. I think the Big Water has a lot of
I think
pluses.
the platform is done. It's just a little dated.
It's the Predator platform that they turned into the Big Water. The Big Water version they did for the e-pedal, which I will not rate because I would not get the e-pedal, but the Big Water version they used, they opened the back cargo space, which would immediately jack up the rating on the Big Water. Overall, great kayak, pretty dang stable, pretty dang fast, kind of priced high for a paddle. It's $1,800. So it gets knocked a little bit for that as well. I'm going to give it a solid 7. I think I would be, if it's all I had, I'd be very happy with it, but I'm grabbing that Titan X just about 99.9% of the time repeating at this point until we go Pond Hopper, which we got some ideas for.
If you could just update that platform.
Absolutely. They've been using the same drillable panels, 6 of them on the boat since 2005, 6. Like they could do something new. It needs an update. It really does. But overall, great kayak, 7 out of 10. Let's go to lures because there's a lot, and we're going to speed round these babies faster than we have been. Not as much to talk about with each of these. Let's go with Z-Man. Z-Man dumped on ICAST last year with like 50 new products. TRD.
Let's go fast. Gobies.
Yep, TRD Gobies. I'm an 8.5 out of 10. I love those. I use them all the time.
9.
You? 9. Great. Gobius.
9.
9 for you. You had a freaking day. I haven't had a day on them yet. I think they're great, though. I can't give it that just because I haven't caught on them, but I'll give it an
9.
8 without having had a day.
9.
They're really cool bait. An Invincible Dark Sleeper. Great. Chatterbait Evo. I'm giving it an 8.5. It is very high quality to me. Yeah, very high quality to me. Caught 1,000 fish on them. Haven't had one blow up like people talk about. Just my experience. I'm not saying it hasn't happened to folks, and if it has, that sucks, and you should just yell at Z-Man. But our experience, love it. I lost a bluegill one the other week. I just bought another one because I want more and some new colors. The Chatter Spike from Z-Man as a trailer, 8.5 for me as well. It's chunky, but it gets the job done, and it's got a lot of action, and it's invincible.
It's bigger than I would want.
It's like, I love the freeloader size. So the freeloader from Rapala,
9.
It's a 9 out of 10. It's a fantastic bait. It's not invincible. If the Chatter Spike was that girth, if you will, it'd be like a 9.25 for
be a 10.
You would give a 10? You've never given a 10.
The Chatter Spike has amazing colors. Not too many of the right ones.
Great colors.
It's
bluegill's weird, but it works.
If the body was thinner and it was like a 1/8 of an inch shorter, it would be a 10.
Yeah, it's a fantastic chatterbait trailer. Use it. They're great. Love them. Mulletron, I got to give low knocks on just because I don't use it ever. Like I don't.
Can't rate it. I've fished it 5 times.
That's better. Non-applicable.
No, I'm not ready yet.
NA for that one. I think it could be great, and I've seen it be great when I fished with Jose down in Tampa Bay, and he's like a designer for Z-Man baits. Crushed on it. The Rattlesnaker. I used it at the tournament. I was that desperate. I used it. I think it has its purposes. I don't exactly get it.
There's too many pieces that you can lose. There's too many pieces you can lose. The glass rattles on the inside can break inside. Yeah. So hate that. And then it works, but it doesn't work perfectly. And then you can also stab yourself. So for me, it's not needed. I think it's 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 based on concept alone. But it needs to be improved. Needs to be an easier process.
We didn't need it, but it was a good idea.
Exactly. Micro Goat, phenomenal. Love it. They came out with a bunch more of their micro products over the past
875.
year. That's fair. I was going to go 859, so I'll go 875 as well.
Yeah.
Micro Goat turned a few of my days around. Love rigging it on the flashback mini chatterbait for BFS. Perfect pairing.
It's
so good.
Crappie dream.
Yep. The Gremlin. This came from BLAT. Haven't caught on it yet, so I'm going to go NA on scoring it.
NA.
I think it's really cool, and I hope when we go flipping and pitching and punching and stuff, we use that. We catch
this weekend.
I'm excited for it. The smaller Hellraiser, man, if only it worked way better than it does for us.
Not enough time.
I caught on the 5-inch, but not the 4.
NA.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Great idea.
Yep. Lure Net. Going switching brands. Z-Man Lure Net. Lure Net blew us away this year. I didn't. Yep. Well, look at you. Sell out.
For a hoodie? This hoodie? I'll sell
Yeah,
out.
you heard
Absolutely.
what I said.
You heard what I said.
All right. Lure Net. Didn't expect to love all the baits they had. Didn't know all the brands they had operating under that umbrella. Oh my gosh. So many. Freaking War Eagle, Yum.
Banking Creek bag, go.
Banking Creek bag, 9.58 out of 10.
9.
It's so good.
All day.
Every single time. It's every 2 months, you guys. I've said it's every month on accident before in a video. It's every 2 months. $40.
Can't give it a 10 because I did blow the bag out. I did overfill it, to be fair.
Those bags always blow. I don't care who makes one. They fall apart at some point. But yeah, they're great. Great bag. And in terms of subscription boxes, pretty much our favorite, right? That's our number one. Out of Rebel, what did you want to talk about from Rebel?
There's no missing, but they make a crankbait that I didn't know existed, and they make a size.
Big craw.
The big craw is sick. It is.
This weekend.
That's a 9.
This weekend, I was annihilating on it. So what happened with me on the lake this weekend was frogs shut off. We had this crazy front situation. Big storms here in Michigan came through. Electric force, like
you grabbed
flooded. What?
You grabbed a crankbait? Were you okay?
I grabbed a crankbait. You want to hear why?
Beaver?
So I was fishing Texas rig.
I heard about you fishing, yeah.
Yeah, I was fishing. The end of story. I was throwing a Texas rig, catching on the Yum dinger, green pumpkin with that little chartreuse tip.
Yeah.
Favorite color. Annihilating on that. And I caught a fish, and it had a craw in his mouth. You guys will see a short coming out soon, a TikTok on that pretty soon, because I filmed, basically cast to catch with those. Anyways, had a craw in its mouth. It threw it up all over my boat. Thanks, buddy. And I was like, they're eating craws. Cool. And this craw was bright red. So I had a red sleeper craw from Mega Bass, which I can jump ahead and rate. I immediately tied it on, cast it on the heavy stick, annihilated on that. Dozens of fish, just boom, boom, boom. They're just after this craw. I caught swimming it, fishing it deep, fishing it shallow in the rocks, annihilated to the point where the sleeper craw is made out of an elastomer, stretchy, durable plastic. Lost a claw on it. That's how many fish I was catching. It broke. And that thing is chunky. So I was surprised that it broke. But anyways, that led me to grabbing the Rebel craw crank that we had because I have the bright red, like molten craw color one. I was like, our craws are red. I'm throwing red. Threw it out there. Immediately started catching on that too. And it has a big lip, but it's like a 5 to 6 or 4 to 6 foot diver. So it's kind of a mid diver.
It's a beast.
Killer bait. Love it.
Oh yeah.
So great. So Rebel, overall, we love them. 8.5 out of 10 on all the baits we tried with them. Booyah. They had a bunch of new colors that they dropped this year. That like oyster color one knocker that they did. It's cool. I'm not grabbing it. It's hanging on my wall. The spinner baits that they came out with.
Killer.
Covert. Love
Buzz
it.
baits. Killer.
Buzz baits, great. Their bone color. You caught a really decent fish on their 100%. Spinner bait in bone. So yeah, 8.25.
8.5 on everything except for the pad crasher is a 9.
Always. Yum, man, I have fallen back in love with Yum this year. I gotta go get a whole bunch more Senkos or stick baits like
Scottsboro
immediately. Scottsboro paddle tail on Alabama rigs. Their A rig, the Yum whatever rig they call it, umbrella. Thank you. The Yumbrella rig. I did also get, I think we talked about this on our members only live, but when I was at Kayak Adventure Series, I got the I think it's called a tripod, the mini version that everybody was chirping at us about. I have it, have fished with it, very cool. I don't catch on A-rigs up here. Like I gotta figure that out. I'm just in the wrong spot or doing it wrong because I suck. Only A-rig catches I had were in Alabama. Anyways, Yum, 8.75 out of 10. I've loved
The colors are sick.
Mm-hmm.
The Helgramite is a monster. There's no missing, and they got tons of colors, and it's cheap. 8.9 out of 10.
Awesome. Great Lakes Finesse.
9.1.
Chat's gonna call you a sellout, bro.
I am a
Those
sellout.
are expensive baits.
9.1.
My favorite, hands down, from Great Lakes Finesse is the drop minnow, and they're coming out with 2 new versions of it. The craw, we got to go to the river, man, and St. Clair. So I'm gonna go NA on the craw, even though I love it.
A bunch on the craw.
On what, drop shot or?
Well,
St. Clair. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, like, if I were on St. Clair, it's gonna be a 9 to a 10 out of 10. Like,
9.1. That's all great. The sneaky underspin is one of the best baits that's come out this year for me.
Love the underspin. Excited for the new products. They're shipping us a giant AF box, you guys. So we're gonna have.
There better be a hat in there.
I hope so. I want some swag. But yes, we have all their new stuff. They've got a strolling rig that for the drop minnow now. The hover minnow is what it's called. So they got that coming out. A bunch of other cool stuff. I'm probably even not supposed to talk about this, right? Whatever. Dan Miguel will be on the podcast July 10th, so he can yell at me then. But I do have this box coming. I'm excited about it. Lots of really cool stuff. GLF 9 out of 10. You said 9.1. Head in.
Always a 9.
Always a 9. Head in. Just absolute classic.
I don't freaking miss.
Love it. All right, let's go to ICAST Tackle. Been using these jigs a hefty amount, my friends. And
I've drowned a bunch of golden eyes. They're amazing.
You were annihilating with the golden eye with the gobies on them, which is great. Sled head, swim bait, so good.
Used a bunch of them. I would say to the I really want to catch on their big gigantic chicken rig.
I do too.
I fished it for a bit. It was not the right day or time or place or any of that.
I don't know what I'm doing with it, to be honest. So
it's just it's deep water, big fish only. It's winter for us.
Maybe summer. Maybe those deep.
It could. No, I mean you can catch all around, but if you had to pick one, it would be winter.
I have a spot we should try that on my lake. That would be probably cheat codes.
Yeah, man.
We'll go check that out. I was fishing jigs deep there the other day and catching on it. So Outcast 8.5 out of 10. Great jigs. Phenomenal. A lot of them come in 2 and 3 packs.
8.75 because you can get whatever the fart you want. They're great.
They have a billion jigs and they're
not expensive. They're a good value. The fighter jig is they're great. They're all great. It's all good. Mule, everything 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 from Mule Fishing. Go get them. They came out recently-ish in the past year with their double-sided tackle box, which somebody commented on one of our oldest ultralight hack videos, the one you did, or older hack videos, that this wasn't in that video. They're like, I can't believe you didn't include it. It didn't exist when we filmed that video, to be fair. That box is phenomenal. It's also like $10, maybe less than $10. Super cheap, as all this stuff is, but it's all workhorse material, baby. It's going to hold up. Jackworm, love it. Need to put more time in on it. Rigged it a million different ways. That thing's phenomenal. Burrow bug, one of my favorite baits that he makes. 9.1 is easy. Bronco blade, get them immediately. Changed multiple days for us, multiple times. We've been stuck, not catching anything. Switch to a different lake, throw the Bronco blade, annihilate. 10 out of 10, mule fishing, fantastic stuff. Pig jigs. Let's go to Pig Jigs. Came out with the their bladed jig. It's 1/16 ounce, I think. Is it 1/8? Might be 1/8.
I think it's
1/8. 1/8. It's great. Amazing colors. He partnered with Black Diamond Plastics, who makes great plastic colors. So they made a really cool trailer for it. Great stuff. Love it. Love his spinnerbait that he dropped as well. Spinnerbaits impeccably tied. Great colors. Jig head matches. It's just clean.
We just got the underspin. Haven't tried it yet, but yeah. I mean, Pig jigs in general, it's the lowest score you can give it is like a 7.5. It's all like an 8.5. It's all phenomenal.
Yeah, the mule jigs. He partnered with Mule Jigs to do those tied up jigs. Those are his like first ones. So you got a skirted ultralight jig. Great. I always have one tied on, I feel like, with a burrow bug as a trailer. Pig jigs, 9.8 out of 10. Moving on. Poop baits. I said it. Heavy gravity baits. Those kind of bust onto the scene over the past 2 years, but last year 1 million of them were copied and reproduced at the show. Yamatanuki is top tier for me. I'm
8.5 for that one, 8 for everything else.
8.5 for that one, 8 for everything else. I agree. A lot of them lack in the durability department. So does the Yamatanuki. That's why it gets a little bit of a knock. They're great baits. They catch a lot of fish. They fall apart. Megabass. They came out with their BFS line, which you've used. What do you think about the Megabass BFS baits?
They're all great. They're all overpriced. You don't need them except for you must get the X80.
The X80 jerkbait, and I do like the Pop X and the Pop X Junior, I think it's called. The smaller one.
Yep.
The Junior is
don't need it.
Sick. Yeah, for 16 to 20 bucks, I think most of those baits run. There's so many other options. Rebel Pop R. Like Rebel Pop.
You don't need it. You just don't need it. You don't need it.
They're great. High quality. If you want to spend the money, spend that money.
Go
Sleeper Gill came out. I've used it. Picked one up at Dick's Sporting Goods before the Kayak Adventure Series. They were chasing gill. They weren't eating this thing. NA, because I haven't caught on it. Swims like a champ. Really nice looking bait. Swims like a champ. Haven't caught on it. NA. Sleeper Craw. Oh my gosh. That bait is freaking cool. If it was regular plastic, which I thought it was going to be, I was going to give it a 0. But it is super durable. Comes in a bunch of good basic colors. I got to give it an 8.2 out of 10. I love that bait. I'm going to buy more in different colors, and I think I can fish in a lot of places. Really cool.
It's not
work everywhere.
It's got to be a lower score.
What? The Sleeper Craw? Why is it not needed? I mean, you can use
it. It can be imitated by almost anything.
Yeah. It's all in one for $7. You buy a jig, you get trailers, you break them off. I think there's a value there with it being an elastomer plastic.
Sure.
So I'm giving it a good score. I like it a lot. You guys should pick one up. That brings us to a fun little category that's probably going to meet we're going to meet it again in predictions. We're going to go back to this. FFS, forward-facing sonar baits.
It's not needed. It is really cool minnow, and it does roll really well on the hover troll.
The Yum FFS minnow is what he's talking about with their FFS sonar jig, right? You can use a jig and a minnow a million different ways. It is a Yum bait, so it's not like crazy expensive or anything. You get a multi-pack with the jigs. I think they're solid. I've seen people rigging it sideways and having a lot of luck with it, so I'll call that out. I think that's really cool. Again, any of the baits in this category to us not really needed, and also probably already exist in some fashion. So Yum minnow, it's a good minnow and a jig combo. It's a 6.5 out of 10. Paul's just making a face at me.
7.
7 out of 10. Fair enough. All right. Berkeley stuff. They made stuff and things. Nessie, most controversial bait out of ICAST 2024, I think. So I've used it. I have the
can't rate it. Never fished it.
I have the 5, I think. The middle size. Might be a 7. I think it's a 7-inch. I think it's a cool bait. I need more colors. I haven't caught on it. I think it swims really well. It swims really well. I also might have broken it because it's stitched up the middle in the joint, and I think a hook got stuck. Another bait's hook got stuck in the seam and may have ripped the stitching there. So might have wrecked it instantaneously. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of maybe
might have
accidentally
possibly happened. 6.2 out of 10. Credge. I fished it. I don't get it. I have to be fishing it wrong. I don't get it. It kind of like you pop the rod or twitch the rod, it jumps up and it slides back. I just would rather use a jerk bait. I must not be in the situations where these are so necessary that I could understand.
I need to get it. I haven't used it.
Take it. Have it. I did also pick up the finisher. It's like a blade bait, basically. It just falls instantly, like a rock. And you just like constantly twitch it. I don't know if you're supposed to stroll it. Again, I don't get it. So I'm going to go NA on both of those for me because I need to learn them. So let's go to mid strolling. I think it was the last part of our
that should be a category.
Don't care. You don't care? about mid-strolling, the hottest new technique in bass fishing? Are you going to come here on this
No,
live
not
podcast on
mid-strolling,
our channel?
the finisher and cred and the nesty.
Oh, you're on a delay. I jumped to talk about mid-strolling. You're like, don't care. Nice. Cool, man. All right. So, yeah, move to mid-strolling now. What do you think about mid-strolling baits?
Care.
Thoughts? Care. Okay, cool. We tried a bunch of mid-strolling baits this year. Got a lot of recommendations from Rar Fishing, who was on our podcast. Really cool dude, knows an insanely amount more than I know about mid-strolling. I have caught a bunch mid-strolling the rig that he recommended, the Fish Arrow Flash J with the range roller, I think it's an owner jig hook. Great. Super fun. I'm not grabbing it all the time. So I'm going to say, for the fact that I'm not going, I should mid-stroll here, it's got to get knocked down for me personally. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Really cool technique. Hasn't blown me away as in like this will catch everywhere and change my days yet.
I haven't used it with forward-facing sonar, which is really what you're supposed to do, is be able to see it and like work it the way that it's meant to be. So I can't rate it yet, but I do care. So
I did also get the Raid Japan crazy, like it's the fish roller, super long. It's like a 6 or 7 inch plastic. Rigged it with the jig that they sent us in the hookup tackle box that we got and unboxed on Monday. That you guys maybe saw that video. Really cool. A lot of people gave me tips from that video. Also said go with that core tackle rig instead. Try the core tackle. Go with the biggest ones that we have. I might try that. So I'm going to re-rig it. They're cool. They're hollow bodied. Neat. Lots of cool stuff in mid-strolling. I need to figure it out more. Let's go to gear. So this is like bass fishing gear, kayak gear, maybe tackle storage, things like that. We'll start with some Yak Attack because I went on a Yak Attack shopping spree apparently recently. I have a problem and I picked up a whole bunch of stuff that honestly I didn't think I was going to get in the long run, but I've been pleasantly surprised with. I think a lot of the things that they offer you can get for way cheaper from Amazon, for example, because there's a lot of Amazon companies just making Yak Attack products essentially, which is not cool in that aspect, but cool and that you can get it and save a lot of money. There's cheaper options out there. Crate wise, everybody goes black pack. Like it's great. It's heavy. There's cheaper options. Flambeau all day. We'll just throw it out here. But I did get the track pack, which I have liked. It just basically is a clean bait storage, like bait graveyard section of my boat, but it could be a staging area too. They come with inserts, tray inserts for that to keep your baits from tangling up with each other, or for plastics mixing up like Z-Man versus Plastisol. So I think it's neat. Very expensive. They are not cheap. So I got to knock it for that. 7 out of 10. Really cool idea. Man, is it pricey. You got to get the 2-pack. DeBurley gave us the hookup on this. You get the 2-pack or you don't get it. Because if you get the 2-pack, you get the track included. And if you buy it all separately, like I did, it's not cheap. I did get the short stack as well. And I talked Rob Harrison into getting it at the Kayak Adventure Series too. He picked one up at Water Dog. Short stack's really cool. Extra storage, easy to use, very clean, functional. 8 out of 10. $60 on top of what you already spent on your black pack means it gets 2 points off for me because you're spending $230-ish on your crate. Yeah. So if you're cool with that, that's the 16 by 16 is $175. Are you okay?
Oh, that's horrible.
No, I don't feel so good.
You can get the exact same thing already put together
from
Flambeau for under 100. So
yep. We'll always say that. I love my black pack.
And the day I die. All right. Garmin 93 SV Ultra HD2, which is the newest version from Garmin in the 9-inch series, which is a lot lighter, a little bit cheaper than the 10-inch, which has a bunch of stuff you don't need. So, Jeff, how do you like the 9-inch?
I love it. So I had what you had, which is like the 10 or 12. I think we have the 12. We have the giant screen one. This is a lot lighter. Setup is super easy and simplified compared to the big version that we had, which had like multiple daisy chain options. So you could have 2 screens, whatever. This one, you can't do 2 screens. It could be your second screen, but you would have to get a UHD 12 or something to be able to use it. That said, sunlight readable. I don't have to have my little bonnet on it anymore. You took yours. Well, yours broke, so you don't have it anymore.
I don't even use it.
We took it off when we did your last kayak build. But we used to use that Burley Pro sunshade. So happy I don't have that. Oh my gosh. This is way better. Sunlight readable. They changed the menu as well. The menu is super clean. So you don't like go back to the menu when you go to change your combos. It pulls the combos up onto the screen while you can still read like your sonar, which is genius. It should all be that way.
Yeah.
But super clean. Love it. 8.5 out of 10. Knocked 4. Insanely expensive. Very pricey. Also have the new live scope, the LVS 34, I think it is, and the new transducer.
Have you noticed
very
a difference?
Clean image. It I don't know. We'd have to put them side by side. I think there is a noticeable one. I don't think Ted would lead me astray. Ted, our boy, who hooked me up with a discount on him too. So appreciate you, Ted. Thank you so much. I think it's a little bit cleaner than I remember my previous screen being. But in order to make sure that's not a placebo effect, we really should side by side them and see what we see. We'll go from there. But I like it a lot. Boondocks slotted console and the catch console. So consoles in general on a kayak are a thing a lot of people are doing if they're going with screens generally, or if they want to have more accessories up front, like a phone holder, your Panfish Pro from Yak Attack, or your camera holder, net holder, blah, blah,
Rod stager from Yak Attack.
Rod stager, all things like that. I think consoles are very cool. We've been using them for a long time now because we made our own on the Hobie with the H rail, and we've used a slotted console now, which I think for $60 to me is the no-brainer console because all of the other ones are around 100 plus. It's clean. I like it. It's rock solid. Track fully across the top. That's what you need. So 8 out of 10. You? Catch?
The catch, I would say, should be a 9 out of 10 once it's set up.
Once it's set up.
It's difficult to set up. You have to guess and check, and you're going to screw it up. I will say the spacers and the crankdown knobs are worth every little tiny penny.
Yep.
And
It's
once
rock
it's set up,
solid.
it is amazing. It's like a handle on your kayak. It's insane.
Yeah.
So
clean.
Overall
so
rating, considering that the installation instructions were just not there, and you really had to piece the thing together, was a little bit of a headache. I still am going to give it like an 8.5. It's very nice, and it's as low profile as it gets. There is nothing lower profile and heavier duty. It's crazy.
I think it looks so good too, and it comes in a couple different colors.
Gorgeous colors. It's really nice. They do a great job.
Catch is doing some clean stuff.
It's expensive.
It is.
It'd be in the $100-ish range.
Yep. A lot of those consoles are, man. Like the Boondocks being $60. I think you do have to buy the ankle risers. So I might have to walk that back. So if you have to buy the ankle risers, I don't remember because Jeff Little hooked us up.
Everybody
does. Then it's going to be around $100. I think those ankle risers are 30 to 40.
1 to 150 for a completed catch setup.
Yeah. All right. So there's consoles. Let's go to motors. So we've been messing around with kayak motors recently. So the Newport NK 180 Pro, and Newport might make some cool new stuff.
9.2.
It's pretty bananas. Easy install, you said?
Super easy install.
Fast.
I don't like all the cables. There's a lot of cables involved.
3 or 4.
So that's kind of one of the drawbacks. But everything is the quality is effing insane. The battery is effing insane, and it's just really clean and easy. Like, it took me no time to learn how to do. Love that motor. Do I wish it was the 300? Yes. Do I like the 180? Yes. It's great. It's really, really nice motor. It's nice, way nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, very clean. Bearded paddler. We have not tried the Captain's Bridge. I thought about it. I guess it's not as wide as I thought it was, but the way I was looking at it, there's such a narrow gap on that Native Titan X between where the pedal drive is like up and opening the hatch that I was like, I don't think I want this one. So I went with the Boondocks instead. And I think it was I don't know, maybe 10, 20 bucks more than what I was going to pay for the Boondocks. So I did what I did, and I went with that one. But yeah, I haven't tried the Captain's Bridge. It looks pretty neat. And then he also brings up the NK180 at $9.99 and $11.99 for the NK300, better value NK300.
A couple things though with the NK180, and I haven't compared it to the 300, but I did compare the NK180 on the video walkthrough I did for my Crescent build. Compared it to the Pro to the old one. Brushless motor, that's an upgrade. The mechanics of it is from a battery drain perspective, way lower amp hour battery drain. And from a silence perspective, they claim it's a lot quieter. It is really quiet. They do need to fix the way that you pull the anchor down to anchor it. They have like a little like bar. It gets pulled to the side. That needs to be fixed. It's a small thing, but it's important. But there are some differences, and they're enough to where it's like when they come out with a 300 Pro and it only costs $300 more, people are going to go that route because that brushless motor, it is going to last a lot longer.
Yep. Also, Peyton said it. You got to get their 36-volt battery. You don't have to get theirs, I guess, but if you get theirs, it's $1,200.
It's still way more expensive.
36 volts are pricey, people. So $1,200, I think, for the Newport battery, the 36
compared
volt.
to
and it's a 40 amp,
like 600 or 800 for the 50.
For the 50 amp 24 volt.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's more price they sneak into there. It's $200 difference between motors, but it's also a lot more on the battery cost and some differences. So I mean, yeah, it depends, right? And yeah, Peter Paddler, it depends on where you get that battery. If you get the Newport, $1,200, you could probably save $400 or $500 off of that price getting it somewhere else.
Yep.
Having Bluetooth is freaking sweet though. I have a Bluetooth X2 for my
nice.
Yeah, I just got the X2 for the fish finder setup that I have, and you can just check that battery life right on your phone. It's freaking cool.
Insane.
X2 battery is great too, I would say. We're gonna probably do some shorts and maybe work it into a video because I think Power Queen is going to send us another battery. I want a smaller one than the one they have because they have a mini and they have a Bluetooth as well. But anyways, got like Power Queen, X2, Dakota, and now Newport. We got a bunch of batteries that we can definitely talk about through our experience with them. Other motors, we got the XI3 and the Bixby K1. Already did a super refined review, as refined as we offer on this channel, on the Bixby K1. I believe it got 83 out of 100, so that's an 8.3 out of 10 for me. I think it's great, modular, easy use, not going to be nearly as fast as everything else, but close enough. It weighs absolutely nothing. Battery floats and it's waterproof. Like there's so many good things about it that it's hard to really knock it other than it ain't as fast. Yeah. Power output, not the same. Also, I broke one and I still think it's an 8.3 out of 10.
I don't think they don't want to be.
Yeah. They don't want to be the super
they're
fast.
Not concerned necessarily with being the fastest. I mean, they obviously they do, but like the design of them is they just own a different place in the market. Just I hate comparing them to the the Newports or the Torqeedos. It just doesn't make any sense. For what it does, nothing else works anywhere near as good.
Yeah. The reason we haven't really done a head-to-head is because they're not head-to-head comparable. It's apples and oranges as far as motors can be. XI3. Oh my gosh, do I love the XI3. Everybody that tried to talk me into that, thank you so very, very much. I've never been happier in all my life. I have, actually. There's plenty of things I've been happier about. Yo, Rory Bear. Not only is there a bear in this building,
Bear is here,
but he's a gosh dang member now. Oh my God. Now we got to see you on members only. You got to come on camera on members only lives, dude. Be there.
100%.
Bear in the room. I love it. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, XI3, if you have the opportunity for bow mount and you want some agility, because you can turn on a freaking dime in a circle, and you want okay speed and you want spot lock, I think it's great. It's such a great option. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Well earned.
What was so funny about what I said?
If you could have just said if you want a trolling motor, but
on the front of your boat. Yes, exactly. If you have a kayak and you want a trolling motor on the front of your boat, which the XI3
The
is
only way to
currently
go.
it's the only option. I would love to see more bow mount kayak motor options. Like, why are there not more yet? If I don't see
$600
one,
adapter kits. That's why.
well, there are adapter kits for sure. I would love to, man, if we had the time, I would totally do like cheapest DIY kayak motor you could do and just see if we can pull it off. I mean, I know we can do it. I'm just saying, how does it hold up compared to the other ones that we have? Because yeah, you can save a friggin' ton of money DIYing it. You just got to learn a little tiny amount of electrical and you can have a good time. A little bit of luck and a lot of electrical skill. You too can have a motor. Do it yourself. All right. So XI3, what I say, 8.5. I love it. I'm very happy with it. I have also slammed into things with it. So both kind of kudos to XI3 durability and the native Titan X not folding on me.
Like, it's hard to fold at 200 pounds.
Right? I mean, yeah, it better not. That'd be crazy.
Are we talking Buzzbee?
Let's talk Buzzbee. So we got the Buzzbee Hive boxes. They're expensive. They're more expensive than I was hoping they were going to go. When we originally talked, the price they're at now was a price I threw at him where I was like, I think you probably are going to market around here. And he was like, no, dude, it's going to be this. But then I think shipping costs, everything else. Yeah, it just wasn't going to work for them. So I love it. It's really hard to be like, get this only at the price point. I'd say if price is not really a big deal to you on them and you're okay with spending essentially 50 to 60 bucks more than you would on your random Harbor Freight storage or something like that, I like them a lot. Plus you get the dividers, which you're not going to get with those other bins. They're built like a brick shit house. Like you can literally jump on them. You
got the waterproof gasket. The only gripe I have with them is that the latches can break. They need to soften the latches actually and not make them so
Did you break one?
I did.
I had two
I've been beating
shipping.
The hell.
Oh, we've been throwing it, jumping on it, using it
when I took it on this last, I'm kicking the crap out.
Good. So latches need a little bit of work. We think they're sweet. I'd love to see some improvements on it. Price point
sick though. If you need there's so many things I want to do with them. If you just have one crate, it's sick. 150 or 90, I think, are the price points.
Yeah, around that. Maybe 90, 140. The only way, in my opinion, to get them is the multi-pack because it's like $3.95, but you get a mad discount on them for the large boxes, and it's less than that, obviously, for the small boxes. But you get a bunch, so you get your quantity. That's the only way I would be like, yes, go get these right now. Just buy a multi-pack. Don't buy a single.
Yep.
And it's easier for them to ship that way too.
What about the eco boxes?
So their new basics, the Buzzbee Basic, I called it the economy version of a Buzzbee, right? So the Buzzbee Basic, I think they're insane. I switched my BFS setup to the 3700 size thin, and I love those boxes. They're great. Like a lot of space. The dividers
solves a lot of problems that people have been asking about from Buzzbee. Lowers the price a bit, gets you back into the standard trays, which actually has a little more room. And they did it better than anybody else. So they're awesome. I like them a lot too. They're well worth the money.
Really good tackle box for sure. We got two other things in here. Let's say rod caddy real quick. 20 bucks, 30 bucks. What are rod caddies?
Oh, we never gave ratings. High boxes, 6.9 out of 10.
Based on cost.
The new basic boxes, 8.85 out of 10. They're really, really good. The next thing up, we have the Jackson net. This is the extendable net, the longest extension, medium extension, the medium extension. And then we got all the accessories. 10 feet, I think it was.
Yeah. It's freaking cool. We haven't taken it out to net anything.
I can't really rate it yet because I haven't beat the ever living crap out of it. But we're at the time of year where it's time to start wading the river, so I will get it out for that, and I will net all of Jeff's fish.
Yeah,
he'll be nearby, and I will extendo net the fish for him. That's the plan.
Then take it, and then also cut
off.
Look
what I caught!
Lure. Look what I did, you guys. That would be a great break wall net to test.
Oh, dude. Yep. Yeah. I could just take it to the cottage.
Just take it to the cottage, dude. Just catch a couple fish off the break wall.
That fish, that will really tell you whether or not that thing can hold up.
Yep. So there you go. Stay tuned for that. Last thing we had was a rod caddy that you got recently.
Dude, that's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
A 9 out of 10. It handled a 3-piece rod.
Cool.
Traveled with it to California and back. It's great. Perfect. Exactly what I needed to do. Never had
So
an
you
issue.
put it through its biggest test it's gonna
really
get.
heavy duty. It's not gonna crack. Like it's really, really nice. For $20,
Cool.
it's still a deal. I really like it.
Nice.
I'm going to continue to use it.
Yeah. I forgot I had one. It's somewhere.
But then you'll go on a trip and you'll be like, oh, dang.
Really wish I used that rod.
Oh, I have one. It makes me want to buy more multi-piece rods.
Fair. We don't have that many. Recently we've gotten a few, like Kestrel, for example.
But I want mediums. I want spinning setups. Full size.
Van Noy Fishing, it is a multi-piece rod holder. So it's basically 2 pieces of plastic and a very heavy-duty elastic band.
Way overbuilt.
Yep. So you leave your rod spooled, right, with a lure on there. You just slack line it, open it up.
Yeah, you don't have to cut the lure off.
Nope.
It's legit. And then it protects both ends and it keeps it compact, and then you can just carry it. It's awesome.
We've done a few shorts on it in the past, TikToks on it.
Just go Google it. They're great.
It's pretty neat. But yeah, check out Rod Caddy. All right. So let's go into prediction time. So we're changing out Slow Rolling Thunder for today's episode only is now going to be Slow Rolling Thunder of ICAST predictions. And we are going to go through, I want to talk about ICAST this year coming up. Not a lot of info we mentioned at the beginning of the show. Nobody's posting anything about this. Tackle Warehouse did their podcast on it recently, so you can go to it on their website. It's like 22 minutes though of the guys just saying like, I don't know, there's some new swim baits, probably going to be some copy baits, blah blah blah. So you can check that out, but there's no visuals other than 4 swim baits that they brought onto the podcast to show. So you're not going to see anything, unfortunately. I would love to see what we have been seeing the past couple of years is like, here's hundreds of new things that you can look at for new product showcase. Now, maybe that'll come out next week or the week after or whatever. We just wanted to tackle this early. So let's go through what are some things that we're thinking we're going to see at ICAST. And chat, you guys chime in on this as well. Give us some ideas in chat as far as what you think is going to come out at ICAST this year. Should we start with the craziest new bait you think is going to drop, Paul? The craziest.
I'll say this. The type of bait that's going to win, I think it's going to be another larger like swim bait.
Swim bait or top water, I was thinking. It's going to be, there's, something that's going to have too many props on it. That's going to be like, this is going to be like a jointed.
It will be over 12. It'll be over $12 at retail.
For sure it will be. Yeah. I could see that. We're saying craziest, not best. So yeah, craziest, it's going to be expensive and it's going to be probably a large.
No, bait. I'm saying the one that's going to win will be, I'm saying the one that will win best, the showcase, product showcase for bait will be over $12 retail and will be some sort of bait or glide bait.
Okay. I was talking about craziest bait. But okay, so for best bait,
craziest new bait will be some like squiddy, like gigantic saltwater
squid prop bait.
Dumpster hunt will win it. Squid Pro Quo.
Squid Pro Quo, it's called. Lunker Hunt is like, we present to
Hire me, Dumpster Hunt.
The Squid Pro Quo. It's so dumb. I love it. All right.
It's perfect.
Sure. What was the best in show bait from last year? That's what I really should have just pulled up. ICAST best.
Was it Rip City?
Show.
The Rip City, Crush City stuff?
Crush City, I think, won. We know Custom Tackle won their crazy carbon handle for the rods.
Mm-hmm.
NRX Inshore, Mojo Bass Trigon won freshwater. Zada Combo won the combo. Stratic
the combo is pretty sick though.
The Zada combo, yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
The Nessie one. The Nessie one freshwater soft lure.
Yeah, I think I told you. I still think it's going to be a bait like that wins this year.
The Evo one, the
That
Mulletron one.
made sense. Mulletron is pretty dope, actually.
Yep. Remember this, you guys?
Hot popper bait. That's funny.
Caleb snuck
Hot
the. Oh, okay. We're doing that now. Do you remember Caleb snuck in the Colony 8T?
Genius.
Into the fly lines, leaders, tippet, and line accessories.
Genius.
It's so good.
Genius. I was so happy. I started slamming beers when that happened.
Dude, you know what won terminal last year was the VMC swinging Ned rig jig.
There was nothing else out there though.
We didn't use. I want to use that.
It's overrated. I don't think it's needed.
I mean, sure, everything's overrated.
All right,
think about it. The e-pedal one, but nobody submitted like new kayaks. But yeah.
So I actually, when I did my predictions, they weren't just for ICAST. They were just like for the future, like the next 12 to 18 months. And we both came up with one that was very similar, where we will see some JDM. I'm using air quotes. The JDM inspired, which means stolen from JDM. I think that in the next 1.5 years, 1 year, I think you're going to see I think it will be just like commonly understood that all the baits that get dropped from the US are just stolen from JDM straight up. And they're just launching them here as soon as possible. And that's going to be the MO for the next 1 to 2 years. I think that's going to just be standard practice. Don't invent anything. Wait for JDM to drop it. If it blows up, make your own, or just steal it outright.
Simplest marketing design.
I think
they know people like it. Yeah. They can come in cheaper. Yeah.
I just think that's going to be the standard. And it will be like a known thing. I think it'll be like, I think what I wrote down was Japanese knockoffs will be a thing that we're all just like aware of.
So, I mean, we can talk about it all the live long day, but it's just going to keep happening. We're going to keep talking about it.
Jeff had his next one up here. New kayaks with question marks. Like for me, I think I know what the next big thing in kayak fishing will be. I'm gonna put it out there as a bold prediction.
Okay.
I think that kayak manufacturers will stop making paddle or pedal only options. I think every kayak manufacturer needs to have a pedal drive, and they just need to give you the plug. And if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. You start buying the drive separately. And they design kayaks to be pedal, paddle, or motor only. Like every kayak should be able to do that. The Crescent Lake Tackle 2 will be the first, is like, in my opinion, that's what drove me to this. Because I was like, if they had a pedal option for the Crescent Lake Tackle 2, I'd buy 3 of them. I'd have 1 paddle, I'd have 1 pedal, and I'd have 1 for the motors. Like having a motor and pedals is it means you don't need anything else.
Yeah. So we reposted on our stories the Kaku Zulu, which has the option of throwing in a motor, a pedal drive, or just paddling. Seeing more kayaks like that, I'd agree, would definitely be really, really cool. Because then, you don't have to buy 3 kayaks or 2 kayaks.
It makes no sense. Like, I don't know how have we not thought of this. How have we not thought of this already? Like, what are we doing? I get like they are going to sell more kayaks, but honestly, if you just did that, if you're the first one to design one like that, so I think the Zulu, they have one now.
Yeah, I'll also say Vibe makes options for that. They have different pedal drives too that you can put in there.
But that's a few other ones. Market it
exactly.
Does Wilderness Systems. What they need to do is
Wilderness.
They need to make it so there's only 1 pedal drive. They need to make it so that it works on all their platforms, and then they need to make flat backed kayaks that can accept a motor. Yeah,
or at least have the power pole bolting pattern, which a lot of kayaks still don't somehow.
And then have like their own proprietary. Yeah, you just for $100 you buy this thing and you can put whatever you want on it. Same.
Or you got to get a plate like Crescent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They make their own plate. Crescent makes a wonderful plate. It's just like that to me is such a no-brainer. It also allows it as a kayak manufacturer, it allows you to simplify your lineup. So you don't need to have 6 kayaks. You can have 2.
Yep.
Like that. I'm big on that one. And when we talk to people, I'm going to mention that to people because I can't believe we're not doing, like, imagine if the PWR had pedals so you could drop into it.
It'd be a no-brainer.
and then had like a
It's like,
really robust
no-brainer,
like
but yeah.
plug where you were like, no, when I lock this in, it feels just like
Right.
a normal, when it as though it were designed like that way. And if
Mhm.
you did that, dude, I can't see how you lose.
Yeah, no, it would be a no-brainer value for buyers of kayaks for sure, and I'd
Yep.
love to see it. I'm not sure we're gonna see much new stuff for kayaks again this year. I think it's like the past couple of years, like nothing new. It's like
But
2021.
if there's a
Obi's like,
they
look
have
at
to
this
get 3
red
to
one.
5 years. They have to get 3 to 5 years to
Yeah,
recoup the cost of all the manufacturing money that they put into it.
yeah. No, I mean, well, it's why we're getting a Fire Tiger Old Town, right? Like they can do colorways. That's an easy way to change it up. That's what Hobie did with the Ike edition, the red Pro Angler that they did, the 360.
So dumb.
Like that's all they can offer. And then they come out with the XR, but then they don't even go to ICAST.
They need to make accessories
for
kayaks, their own kayaks. They need to make their own accessory
like,
lineups, and they need
there
to
are
do it
kayak
better than
accessories.
Yak Attack.
Yeah.
Look,
Sure.
I love the guys at Yak Attack. They're doing great stuff, but like, make their own stuff. Okay, update your drives. Okay,
Yeah.
you're native. You have your drive system. You have a bunch of them out there.
Make it
That's
better.
fine. Make it lighter. Make it stronger. Make it quieter, and then make it where it comes with the frickin', just like Old Town did, where it comes. It's all one unit. You don't need a plastic cover. It's so annoying. Like, do that. Work on that
Yeah,
for 2 years.
the drive hatch, definitely. I would love to see
It's
that
the
updated.
biggest miss on the whole, and they never fix it. They're like,
No,
what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
because they think it's a 10 out of 10, bro.
It's a 4 out of 10. It's the worst part of the whole kayak.
Crazy Cranker boat comes out with a lot of crazy stuff. More than likely, boat will just come out with a new like flotation raft chill out thing, like a floating patio with a grill on it or something. Then they will a boat.
They just came out with submersible packs. They just came
Which
out
are
with
great.
submersible packs that are really cheap. They're sick. I actually really want one. If I could get one, I'd totally get one. They're cool.
Also, T-Boyd2210 off topic, but just watch your tackle box video. Appreciate the insight. Thanks, my dudes. Definitely subscribing. Thank you so much. And thanks for checking us out, man. Appreciate it.
I don't think there will be any new motors or batteries.
I don't think so either. I think you're right. It's that we're in the middle of this, maybe towards the end, the tail end of like a 5-year dry spell before something hot new thing like drops on the market, because it's in R&D right now or in development. I totally get that, and it's a long ass process.
Well, they just dropped the new Torpedo, and they just dropped the 180 Pro, so it's like there's nothing else. There's nobody else out there right now.
I mean, allegedly Newport's
K1
doing
just came
something
out,
else.
We don't need anything else. No one's gonna drop anything new.
Yeah.
Not right now.
We'll see.
I don't think
we'll see what else.
It's possible.
But yeah,
we'll find out.
Totally possible. All right. So yeah, I mean, there will probably be other random like new terminal, all that kind of stuff. Is there going to be a $1,000 Yeti cooler with remote control on monster truck wheels? Do you think? Chaz says it would also have a speaker.
I had cooler.
And it's a portable AC.
Yeah, I had cooler as where we will see something insane happening. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think an expensive like Engel coolers will come out with something wild. I think a cooler will be something that comes out this year. I had that as one of my.
How about a cooler with a drone pad, and the drone can fly you a Sunny Bill, like at will. The drone just brings you a Sunny Bill. I think it could happen.
We don't need it. We don't need anything, but it's going to come out.
Come on,
it's going to come out.
All right.
No, we don't need stuff. All right. I also had okay.
Do you think there will be a sequel to the Foot Chopper Offer bumper boat that we played with last year? Because I think there will be, like the Go Boat 2.
They didn't sell more than 4 of them, so no.
This one has spikes on it, so like
3?
if you get,
we don't need it.
You're injured, go home 3. This one has spikes on it for bumper boating, and like you get hit, you sink. I mean, raise the stakes, you guys, is all I'm suggesting.
It's so
Oh
dumb.
man, Rory says
It'll be
if
the
they
knee
build it,
chopper 4,000.
if you build it, they will come, man. Somebody's gonna make it. It's gonna happen.
If they build it, I will go. Oh, God.
If they
All right,
build
so
it, I'm gonna leave.
I have like future. Exactly. I have some future predictions here. I already talked about.
Okay.
I did say there's going to be a lot of forward-facing sonar baits that no one will care about, and it's done. It's already dead. So I think forward-facing
Yep.
sonar baits are already
agree.
dead, and anything that comes out will get swept under the rug. Japanese knockoffs will be a thing. Already called that out. More flexible kayak designs. Already called that out. I have two more. I think
Okay.
Yak Attack is going to get too big for their britches, and I think they're going to make too much stuff that's too expensive, and they are going to potentially ruin their whole brand in the next 2 years, and they may have to rebrand.
I don't.
If you are
see that
making,
happening.
if you are making $100 trays, you've gone too far.
$100 trays?
Yeah, it costs you like $60 to get a tray to put on your kayak. They've gone too far.
Oh, the track pack you're talking about,
Bro. It's too much.
I don't know.
I
don't think so. They might have. Maybe they just add like more of a budget friendly line. They're not going to go over the edge on in
I
2
think
years.
they're already right there.
But here's what I'll counter for you is what you brought up earlier. What if kayak brands just go like, why are we letting Yak Attack take all this? And
That's
then
what
they just
yeah.
That's what I'm going back to. Like they should just kayak brands. Old Town should have their own line. Hobie does.
Yes.
Like Hobie did
And
it.
it's awesome.
And it's
They're
great
really
stuff.
well done. They're
Yeah.
really well done. They're not even that expensive
Yeah.
anymore compared to what Yak Attack does. And they're higher quality. The universal mounting plate
really solid.
is indestructible.
Oh yeah, we've literally like stood on it.
It makes me want to put A-trails on all my other kayaks.
They're great, man. I do like the A-trail. Ramon Outdoors says, I already feel like Yak Attack has made too much modular stuff that's too expensive. They've become, I've heard this said more than once, maybe by Ramon in another comment, but they're like the Apple accessories of the fishing world. Yeah, you could definitely say that. I still don't think they're going to go anywhere. Like, I think they're going to keep.
I'm not saying they're going to go anywhere. I'm saying they're going to have to rebrand. They're going to have to look at their lineup and start culling stuff and be like, we have to get this back to just like very applicable, value conscious, not over, not hyper designed, just like steady Eddie stuff. Like,
we'll see how their board goes because they just came out with their bump board.
Yeah,
we call it leaderboard.
We kind of needed that though. We needed, but the price is wrong. It needed to be $40. It needed to be $40. They shouldn't have made it 60, 70, whatever it is. That was a mistake. It's just my opinion. I wouldn't have done that. Why compete with somebody that you don't need to compete with? Beat them, make it lighter and make it cheaper. Don't compete with them at price. It just doesn't. The cast aluminum one is the same price as the plastic one. Who's like
the indestructible versus the destructible?
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Although it floats.
But that's the benefit. So the benefit is in the material.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need the mirror. Take the mirror off. We didn't even need the extra size. Make it the same size so that it's accessible to everybody, and then just charge $20 less for it, and just suck it up and sell more.
I think
it's just weird.
The margin is really high. It feels is what it is. Like the margin may just be too high.
Take $15 off of it. If it's just $10 cheaper, just take the W. It's just weird. Okay, my last one is in the next 2 years. I'm calling this out 2 years. Mystery tackle boxes of all sorts will pretty much go away.
So monthly subscription fishing boxes. Yeah. Based on, like, I feel like the temperature has cooled on them massively over the past at least 2 years, even more aggressively so. But it's definitely cooled off quite a bit. When we first started this channel, it was like hot to trot, man. Everybody was all about subscription boxes, and that's part of how like we grew initially. It was just by doing subscription unboxings.
They need to go the way of 6 cents. They need, like, companies should just
make all the products themselves, but make them good.
Do custom releases. Get rid of all your, it should be garage sale stack type stuff. Like, we don't need to have any of it. I don't need a markup. No one wants to pay for it. You're not that good at picking stuff. It's not worth it. As a gift, it's a great idea. So around the holidays, it should be available. Whenever they have a bunch of stuff to get rid of that they can't sell, it should be available at a discount, the garage sack. And then the brands can make their own, like the Bank and Creek bag, where it's custom releases and just cool combos. And again, more of a gift or like a treat. And it can't be more than $40. They need to target the $30 range. Like that's
Yeah.
as it stands, that industry can't continue.
No, it would have to massively change. And we did the video where we compared like a bunch of the top brands, and like, you know, some are still complete trash. But even the ones that are decent out there, if they want to get more subscribers and keep them longer, I'd agree with the custom baits. I also feel, even though operationally it would be maybe impossible for them, like when Monster Bass tried to do the regional approach, it was a cool concept. I also would love to see more customization to those boxes. So like, if you know how you like to fish, you could choose what types of baits you want to see more often, like a preference setting. But it would be way too much
Dark
for
Horse
the
is the right
brand to do it.
idea. Do it
Mhm.
yourself, custom, small stuff you can't find or
Mhm.
get anywhere else. That's cool.
Or if you could just pick 6 baits and get a
That's what
slight
I'm saying.
discount,
That's
you know,
like build your own box.
yeah,
Like
build your own
they have
box.
the right idea. They are going niche. They can own a corner of the fishing internet and do really well. These other companies, I think, are going to struggle. 2 years, I think all of them are going to consolidate into like one brand or two brands, and be done.
Yep. Or start their own tackle store like 6 Cents. Like, if you want to be legit, you can't just be, I'll say, you can't just be a box. That's what I'll say. You
Your
can't
business
just be
will
a
fit.
box.
I think that industry is going to go.
That model's dead.
Yeah.
If you sell the tackle, you have a tackle store. That's like better. If you have your own brand that then you can build a reputation around over years, then you're in a better spot. 6 Cents
I
is
mean,
the best
they
spot.
could what another thing they could do is they could just go and sell their distribution network to
Mhm.
Bass Pro Shops, and then just let Bass Pro Shops market the thing, because that's where they lose all their money, is they don't market very well, and then
Mhm.
they end up wasting their energy when really they're just a supply chain. So like, go sell your supply chain to Cabela's, then you're valuable. You can do something. Go
Too many,
sell to Tackle Direct. Go
yeah.
sell to Tackle Warehouse, and then
Discount
you're just
Tackle Depot,
a
whatever. Yeah.
distribution network for them to do boxes on their own, do holiday boxes, do whatever they want. Like, you don't we don't need you to store. We don't need your storefront. We don't need any of your stuff.
Yeah. How many subscription boxes have we tested that have died over the past 5 years? Because I want to say
Well, that some of them were never even really
6,
businesses. They were like
7.
pseudo businesses, but yeah, probably 7 or 8.
There's a lot.
There's
There's a
quite a few.
lot.
But like, it just I mean, even when you're at the king of the pile right now, I think you have to be looking at your business as like this corner of the industry is toast.
Yeah, for sure. All right. On that happy, sappy note, let's move on. I think so there's a lot of things that I'm excited for about ICAST. I have nothing to look forward to specifically until we get like some sort of preview, but
Teasers.
I guess we'll just be surprised
Ca-
entirely.
Cast King is coming out with a really cool pair of nippers.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how they actually work and what the price range is. They also have these like hard shell bait
Bait
keepers
chamber.
that attach to your rod, sort of like
Mhm.
the Cast King. They did the Velcro clear sleeves, which I have and I actually used when I was traveling. So I know that those two things are coming out. I don't think that I've seen much else.
I haven't seen
Anyone really
squat.
talking about anything else?
Cast King, LureNet has Rebel Baits is coming out with plastics. Hey, T Boyd 2210.
Strolling.
Welcome aboard. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, there's I think we talked about it early in the show. Headin's making a Whopper Plopper, essentially. Everybody's got a Whopper Plopper now. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to some previews, so maybe we'll talk about those once they actually come out. We can look at them and get some ideas. Otherwise, we're gonna go business as usual. Go, every single booth, and I think we talked about it last week or the week before. We're gonna just conduct our own research and video while we're there. We're not getting interviews with the guys trying to sell things. That's when you get our ICAST videos. We've done this in the past where we interview the person and it feels very salesy. So we're gonna get like, what can you tell me about this product? And then we're gonna talk about it with our opinions by ourselves. That's how we want to approach it this year. We have, we're gonna hook up Fish NFX because they hooked us up with a badge. So we'll like have Doug talk about his rod and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's like when you go to new product showcase, you can see everything that's new and no people from the companies are there. So you just be like, this is trash. This is great. This is trash. This is great. And we'll run through everything. So that's the way we plan to handle it. And then we've got our on the water day, which will be a lot of fun too. All right, you guys, that's all we got for tonight. Had a lot of fun, reviewed a ton of things for you, like speed round edition, and talked about maybe some of our predictions that are coming out for ICAST this year, which we have no idea because there's no news yet. So we'll tell you more when we find out. Other than that, we will be back not next week. You're gone next week, right? It's next week, the 4th of July. My Josh. All right. Well,
4th of July. It's the 3rd of July, but yeah.
Well, yeah, Thursday is the 4th of July, but
yeah,
the holiday is next week, is what I'm saying. So Paul's going to be out. Probably not going to go live next week, but we will be back the week after with a whole bunch of hot new products from Great Lakes Finesse, talk finesse fishing, giant smallmouth, and other cool things with Dan Miguel from that company. It's going to be a blast. Thanks for hanging out with us again tonight, you guys, and we will catch you in 2 weeks then. Chaz, take us out.